Hello guys, and welcome to today's edition. This is a platform where we equip ourselves with business information, where we learn together, we start together, we grow together, and eventually we succeed together. Today we're privileged to have the man behind the following names: Breadgate Food Industries, Breadgate Hotels, Mrembo Unga, and of course, Bantu Africa Resorts. Come with me.
I'm Dr.Thuo Mathenge. I am the chairman of many institutions, including in business, Bantu Africa, Breadgate, Sandona, and others. I'm also in the management or life continuation in the world, in the country and country called Kenya, of politics, not as a politician, but as a manager. And I'm the chairman of TND, the New Democrats Party. Let me clarify a bit because I've talked that I'm not a politician. I'm not a politician because I don't go for seats like the MP seat, parliamentary seat, women rep, or senators. I go to a management seat called the governor seat. That's why I say I'm not a politician, but I'm a manager, because all what I do in my business is creation and management. As you're asking me, Shiru, how I was brought up, how I came up, where we are seated here, this is Bantu Africa Resort, one of the biggest hotels in Kenya and Mount Kenya region. And next to it is where I was born. This is the village that I was born. My mother is just here because my mother is still almost of the same age. My mother was 14 years and my father was 15 years when they gave birth to me. My father later passed away when we were young, and we are left with my grandmother and my mother. We are brought up in difficult situations that sometimes we could even sleep without food. We had taken the bed, a bed, we could not have a bed. Our mother used to give us a sack, the potato sack, the maize sack. You enter inside, it becomes the mattress, it becomes the blanket, it becomes the bed. And that way, you have not eaten enough, or sometimes you have slept without food. So sometimes there could be a lot of cold that you are not even able to sleep because you don't have something in your stomach. Sometimes I enjoyed when I urinate inside the sack. That small heat could make us, or could make me have that heat to make me sleep. So when I remember this situation that I passed through, and I went to school, and I did my CPE, not KCPE, CPE. When I did CPE, the highest point that people could get was 36 points. That time it was through points. 36 points was the highest point. And I got 5 points out of 36. Today, if it is today, I could be having 499 out of 500. I was called to a school called Mangu High, but my parents, my shosho, my mother could not afford to take me to Mangu High because of the high school fees. So I was later changed to go to Chinga Boys. Chinga Boys is in Odaya constituency. And there, I was assisted to go through my school, payment of school fees by the former MP of Odaya, President Mwai Kibaki. He paid my school fees from Form 1 to Form 6 through bursary, and I was able to grow. And from there, I went to the college. I did clinical medicine. I had my clinics in Nairobi. I had 8 clinics. I had 3 chemists. And later, back in 2005, 2002, 2006, I asked myself, because I was having money, and that time I could be able to buy, 1989, I was able to buy 3 plots, plus another 7 plots that I bought at the river, which was costing more than ₦1 million. So at that time in 1989, 1990, I was able to make my money through my clinics. So I asked myself one day, what shall I do to change the life of one young man in my village, not to be the way I was when I was going to Kware at Keganjo on your way to Shaka, just opposite KCC, to crush stones in order to get school fees. And when I was thinking about it, I thought, well, if I can come and put up a hospital in my home area or a medical facility, and I saw that I could only employ a person who have done medicine. This one told me, you cannot be able to change the life of that young man in the village not to be the way that I was when I was young. So I continued praying my God, and God gave me the vision of chicken. And in my dream, I was shown that there's nobody who cannot keep chicken, including the disabled, including the rich, including the poor, including the old and the energetic. So that vision, that dream that I had motivated me, and I came to a conclusion that I must close my clinics, I must give to other people, my colleagues, my clinics, and go and start about chicken. Chicken that I went to start, that I have never gone to college to learn about chicken. I've never done veterinary. I've never gone to college to do something to do on animal husbandry. But God gave me a vision of chicken, and I took it. So I left the career that I went to school to do, and I went doing different career from what I was trained or I went to school to do. And I started putting up chicken houses here, up there. And I gave my colleagues my clinics in Nairobi. And when my colleagues heard that I'm going to put up chicken, all of them, they were laughing at me, saying, Thuo ameenda kujenga tu nyumba ya kuku. Sasa huyo Thuo ameisha. And I'm the same person who have given them my clinics. But they are saying, I've gone to buy egg. So I came. I started my chicken. I bought the first batch imported from Netherlands, the breeders, for 20 million Kenya shillings. I brought the breeders. I grew the breeders. Then I came up, I thought about now, because I put up the breeders, what do? I started the hatchery. We have a hatchery now, one of the biggest eastern central of Africa. In Kenya, it's the biggest hatchery. It has a capacity of hatching 400,000 chicks in a week. From there, the same chicken that I brought here changed the life of the people who are here. This road which is just here, watu walikuwa waizi, walikuwa nakata hema ya mangari usiku marori for a living. But when I started building these places, they changed and they started working. They stopped stealing goods from the lorries, wakaacha kukata hema na wakawa watu ya kufanya kazi. So we went that way. The same chicken have started changing even the older generation who are stealing. And I was happy to see even the young people who were in school could come here and feed the chicken, then they get a token, and they were happy. Leave alone talking about child labor. This is not child labor. When you go with your kid to the shamba to show him or to train him what to do, that is not child labor. But you give a token to what that kid has gone, to motivate that kid tomorrow to come and work the same. We worked, and we started the hatchery. From there, we saw that the chicken have matured. What do? Where do we take them? We started the processing chicken, breed-gate chicken processing plant. That is a hatchery. No, that is a place for slaughter. It's a slaughterhouse where we started slaughtering chicken. We imported machines. We have one of the biggest processing plant or slaughter east and central of Africa here at Kieni. That is 8 kilometers from where we are now. And Kieni is known to be a dry place. I changed that place from the dry place to become an industrial park. And we have an industrial park on that side. Later, when we slaughtered chicken, I asked myself, where do we take the chicken, apart from selling to other hotels? These people who are looking at the chicken that we are growing, where can they get a chance to eat a chicken? So we started a hotel up there. That small hotel, people came, we brought machine that rotates the chicken, and all the villagers could come out from my village to come and see a rotating chicken, which is cooked by through rotating. It gave me a lot of impression that doing something small creates a lot of impact to the others who could only see that a rotating chicken comes from Nairobi. And many of them, including the educated, they are not going to Nairobi to see all these things. So we brought a shade. The same chicken, when the chicken came up and the people started eating chicken, the parents asked me, watoto wamekula, wameshiba, where do they pray? So I started thinking, where can we put up a praying ground for the kids? Wakaniuliza, wengine wanakuja wanakula, wanaume wanakula, wananiuliza, sasa si tuko hapa, niko na msichana hii wangu, tunaweza kaa wapi tupumzike? I started thinking, where can these people stay? Others wananiuliza, sasa tumekuja, tutarara wapi na kumekuwa usiku, and we are going far to Isiolo. So the chicken that people are eating brought up something that we have today called Bantu Africa Resort. A 5-star hotel, which is one of the biggest, is also in Mount Kenya region and in Kenya, that have got a capacity of more than 100 beds, that have got conference hall, that we have swimming pools. We created place for the kids, Alabeka Family Park. And then I also had coffee. And I asked myself, why should I be going to Nairobi taking coffee called Jaffa when I have my coffee and they are buying coffee from me? Before, I was selling my coffee to coffee board, getting only a peanut. And I started thinking of changing my coffee to organic coffee. I lost my coffee for 3 years so that they can form resistance of diseases. And now we have organic coffee, that people take our coffee, we have our factory, we pack our coffee, and we sell our coffee. Like in our coffee, we sell a kilo of coffee for 2,000 shillings. Well, a farmer is selling coffee at 40 shillings and 80 shillings. And that's why I even come to an idea. If I can be able to sell my coffee at 2,000 shillings per kilo, and a farmer only is paid 40 shillings or 80 shillings, what can I do to make sure that this farmer can at least get 500 shillings? I said, it's not possible for me to change it without a forum, to have authority to change these people. And that's why I went for the seat of the governor seat, in order to get authority to change the people, and especially the coffee farmers, the tea farmers, from the poverty that they are being going or allowed through brokers. And that's why I go for the governor seat, because when I have the authority, I'll be able to make these people get, even including coffee farmers, to get at least 500 shillings from a kilo of coffee. If this old man gets 500 shillings from coffee, from a kilo of coffee, akiwa ako na 1,000 kilos, that's 500,000. That's 500,000. That person will not go for a wheelbarrow. That person will go for a pickup. And this way, he also creates employment for the others. The other issue that makes me happy, it is that I prayed my Creator to allow me to change one young man in my village. But today, I've employed more than 3,000 people who depend directly from my employment. And there are other people now who depend from the other workers, and they also do business, because we have started a factory that side of Kieni, the industrial park. We have our unga gano called Murembo. We have our unga ugari called Murembo. And we have animal feeds, and we have other production of other materials from our processing plant. We make sausages, we make smokies, we make cuts. We use all these things. And to make the matter worse, when I started the processing, the slaughter, chicken slaughter, the NEMA people from the government came to me and told me that I dig a very big hole, a very big shank or something like that one, and build up a wall so that I can be throwing away the intestines and the blood of chicken. When I went back home, nikajiuliza, mimi nitafanya hii kazi yote ya kuchimba mtaro, nijenge na mawe, ili niwe nikitupa mana na damu. I asked myself, what can I do with these intestines? What can I do with this blood from the chicken? So my mind brought me a pig, nguruwe inakulaga kila kitu. So nikakuja nikaenda nikanunua nguruwe. Saa hii niko na more than 200 pigs. Hizo zinakula mara ya nguruwe ya kuku, inakula hiyo damu ya kuku tunapikia, na hiyo nguruwe ikiwa mzima tunauza, tunapata pesa, instead of wasting money saying that I'm throwing away the intestines. In this life of the world that we are given by our Creator, you don't need to have a lot of degrees. You don't need to have these big PhDs to think. And I'm telling the young people, it is not the papers that think. It is the wisdom that God has given you that does all these things. Even the degrees that we have gone because God has given us wisdom. That's why we get more education and get the degrees. And in life, you don't need money to make money. You need brains to make money. So what I'm saying, and I'm encouraging the young people, stop thinking that it's only the paper that you have that will give you money. There is no money. Actually, when you get a degree certificate, unaenda unaiweka kwako nyumbani, au mama yako unamweleza kuwekea kwa kasaduku yake ili iwe huko. Lakini ukitoka kwa wananchi, huendagi umebeba degree, unabeba akili yako kwenda kwa watu. So, in the current century, 21st to 22nd century, everybody in Kenya will be having a O-level or a secondary or high school certificate. They'll be having degrees, they'll be having masters, they'll be having doctors, and they'll be professors. And many people will go for interview, and almost every person will produce a master degree, and will produce a PhD degree certificate. What will differentiate these people? What will make that person who is interviewing these people to make a choice? It is not the papers, because all the papers are written upper class honor, second class honor, master's degree, PhD. What will make the difference from these people? The interview that is going to come now, it will not be about papers because everybody will be tabling the paper. Will be about the wisdom and creativity. If you are not creative, the PhD certificate, the degree certificate, the high school certificate, it will not assist you. You must start by becoming creative. Use the wisdom, use the knowledge that God has given you, because you don't need money. And I repeat again, you don't need money to make money. You need brains to make money. And if you have money, why do you make money? You go making money because you don't have money. So why do you want to use money to make money? Use brains to make money. And be creative. Creativity will be the only issue in this world as we go.
Wow, that's so inspiring. Now, what are the challenges that you have faced all through in the business sector? What kind of challenges you face?
The challenges, they start from life. The way that I'm saying that I was brought up. The challenges that I went through, going to quarry, sleeping in a sack, sometimes sleeping without food at night, has made me to have a very strong heart. And I usually say that my heart is more bigger than my body, because I've gone through difficulties. These difficulties have made me to have a very strong movement or courage in life, in even tackling the issue of businesses. I've gone through difficulties. So when I see that there's a problem in business, I don't see it as a big issue, because I've gone through bigger issues than the issue of a business. So I tackle my issues. I tackle my problem because of having that strength that I acquired through getting into problems. So this is what I tell people. When you see you are into problem, change that problem. Let it be a gain, not a difficulty in you and your thinking.
competition, especially what you're talking about, we're in a world of business where competition is very high, difficulties are there when it comes to implementing something new, because you have taken us through the journey of growing. So for you, it has always been inventing something new every other time. But what is it that makes you stand out, despite every other thing, despite others failing, or other people failing, or other businesses owned by other people are falling, but what has made you stand out?
Shiro, when I went to school, when I was in high school in Shiga Boys, I never, I attended from Form 1 to Form 4. I attended only 3 lessons in my English teacher's class. And one day that I was taken to the headmaster. That time they were headmasters, they were not principals. Because I don't attend English classes. Because to me, it has been that I'm learning a language that has not belonged to me. So I did something called pure science. And the minimum of subjects that you could do in secondary school, it was only 6. And the maximum could be 12. People are doing 9 and 10. Inonda ukiaguka moja, huaguki ile 6. But I did only 6 subjects. And I did pure science, that is physics, chemistry, biology. I don't know about history and CRE. This is what I did. I did the most subject that I was thinking that it could take me somewhere. And I usually still go back to where I was brought up. That I go for difficult things. I don't go for simple things. I don't go for easy things. I go for difficult things. I go for things which are hard, not soft, not easy. So when I started businesses, and I thought now I should not be employed, and I left the government actually. I was working in Kenyatta Hospital. I worked in Memorial Hospital, and I gave my services. But I thought now from now, I don't need to be employed. I need to go and create employment. And I started my clinics. I could see that even if doing a small clinic, I could also admire even today, I go to my clinic that I started. They still look the same because these people have not added more brains to what I added. They still look the same and the way that I had created them. So there are difficulties in the businesses. There are difficulties in life. And sometimes I usually walk all out my businesses and I ask myself, why do I go for governor seat? Why am I concerned about other lives of human beings? But I see it is not my liking. It is that God has chosen me to be his angel, to take his people from poverty or from difficulties, the way he took me from poverty and made me what I am today. So me, I call myself that I'm an agent of change. I create change. When I started my businesses, I had a lot of problems. Loans, banks running after me, having difficulties about marketing our products. But the way that you are seeing, all the products that we have, including this hotel, I've never gone to a newspaper. I've never gone to a TV advertising my product. But my product goes like hotcakes. This hotel that we are seeing here, Shiro, we started the hotel. We have put this hotel during COVID. Tumejenga wakati watu walikuwa nakaaga kwa nyumba wakisema iko COVID. Wakiwa Nairobi walikuwa najifungia. Hakuna watu walikuwa naenda kwa maofisi, watu walikuwa nakaaga kwa manyumba, wamejifungia COVID isiwashike. Sisi na watu ya kijiji yetu hatukujua ni nini inaitwa COVID. We never worn hivi tunaitwa nini? Baragoi. Mask. We never worn mask all the time that from 2019. From 2019. Sisi tulikuwa tunafanya kazi na kwenda kwa kazi. And I told people many times, hapana enda kujifuga hiyo mask, ukaaga nayo hata unalima kwa shamba umefuga mask. Hakuna COVID kwa mshaga because people had started staying at home, not to work. Because there's COVID, they hide themselves in their homes. We could walk with each and every person here and stay together. All what I've done this hotel, which is a 5-star hotel today, we completed during COVID. We have gone far because we didn't take COVID as a problem. We saw it as a solution to complete of what we are doing that time. Yes.
Have you failed? Have you ever started something and probably it didn't go the way you wanted?
One, to me, I've never started something and it failed. I only stopped doing, but it has never failed. I had my clinics. I had even cars that were carrying funeral vehicles, many of them. I had even matatus that were going route 9, number 9 and number 6 in Isiri. But whenever I come to a business, I don't do businesses more than 10 years if they are not permanent businesses. Because like matatu, it's not a permanent business. Like the clinics are not permanent businesses. So I don't do them more than 10 years. So me, I do my businesses for 10 years or less than 10 years. If it's not permanent, I leave it. But this one of a hotel, the other one for industry, is a permanent business. So I don't say that I have had. I remember even when I had my clinics, I had borrowed a loan from Equity Bank. And that was the time that I was starting my clinics. And I bought a vehicle with it was 40,000. I bought a vehicle that time, my first vehicle that I bought for 40,000. But as I was going, I was not able to pay the loan. And one day, nilisimamishwa kwa barabara na watu auctioneer wakasimamisha mimi. Wakaniambia wewe, uko na loan ya Equity na ulipagi. So what did I do? Niliwaambia sawa, nikatoa vitu yangu, nikawapatia gari, nikasimamisha matatu, nikagojea matatu. But do you know, I didn't go back getting that vehicle. Na nikajua hiyo gari haikuwa yangu, ni kwa sababu hiyo pesa haikuwa yangu, nilikuwa nimepatiwa na mtu as a loan. I worked and within 4 months I had bought another vehicle and I forgot about that vehicle. And the auctioneer sold the vehicle and paid the loan. So the vehicle that I bought, it was not through loan. So nobody could stop me on the road asking me about a loan.
Such an interesting story. Your advice to the younger generation who are coming into business?
Oh, good. To the young generation. From my children, from my grandchildren, from my village, county, and Kenya at large. Hakuna kitu inapatikana kwa urahisi. You cannot sleep in your bed and you wait that bed to bring food to you. Even if your mother has cooked food and that food is in the kitchen, you must wake up, get the food, and eat. So you cannot get anything that you want in this world unless you make a step of getting what you want. So the issue here, it is having courage and courage and courage to move in life. There's nothing difficult in this world. There's nothing impossible. We see aeroplanes going all out. These were not angels who came making aeroplanes. God has given us brain. Sio Mungu ati ameteremuka akakuja akasema sasa mimi najenga nini? Najenga hiyo ndege. Sio Mungu ameteremuka akasema najenga hii. Ni Mungu amekupatia hiyo uwezo, amekupatia hiyo akili na wewe uitumie. Na hakuna mtu Mungu anauba. God does not create people who do not have brains. Hata kama huna macho, Mungu anakuuba ukiwa na akili. Unaona hata ile mtu amekuwa some of them, they have mental problems, but they still have brains. Should I tell you, go and look at the Waguruki, the people who are mad. Wazimu wale wako kwa soko. Usikie mtu akianza kuhubiri, anahubiri habari ya Yesu Kristo, anahubiri habari ya Mungu, na hakuna mahali na ameenda kusomeshwa, na yeye ni wazimu. We ukiambiwa usimame hapo kwa hiyo soko uanza kuhubiri kama hiyo mtu, we huwezi, na we unaona yeye akiwa wasimu. Everybody is mad, but the degree of madness varies, and the people who have got more brains are more vulnerable to madness than the people who have got lesser brains. So when you see people shouting at you, and you see this person, why is this person shouting at me? Because you are making a mistake. Might be that is the madness of that person, and it is his intelligence.